Butler's Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Levester Johnson, received some special recognition this week. Olivia Ingalls has more on the award he was nominated for.
Dr. Levester Johnson is considered a mentor at Butler University, so much so that he was nominated for an Inspire Award.
This is a wonderful program and one of the most aptly named, the Inspire Awards.
I decided to nominate him for this award because when I think of someone who has been a mentor in my life and a mentor to so many students and to the Butler community, I think of LJ. I mean, he's one that continuously gives back to Butler and continues to care about students long after they graduate.
College Mentors for Kids hosts the Inspire Awards annually to honor mentors in education, the workplace, and in the community.
We believe that it will inspire us all to seek and become a mentor.
This year's awards were held at the Indiana Roof Ballroom on Wednesday, and 8 categories of mentors were recognized. Johnson was recognized in the education category, but didn't win the category overall. He says winning isn't everything.
Oh, more than anything else is that some of the people that I've interacted with over the years took the time out to actually write some words and acknowledge and say that they thought I was worthy for this. It could have stopped right there. I didn't have to be a finalist, and it's knowing that those individuals took the time to actually acknowledge that and share that with others about the relationship and the interactions that we've had.
In the words of William Shakespeare, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Butler Theatre's players are gearing up to take the stage for the first time this semester. Bree Seaver has more.
Butler Theatre students are working diligently to bring Shakespeare's play, As You Like It, to life on stage. However, bringing something to life is easier said than done. Director Tim Hardy knows firsthand just how important the role of director can be.
An actor depends on the director to have done his homework or her homework. So that if he says, why can't I do that? You say, because in another 2 scenes you do this, and it doesn't work. It's up to the director to be malleable and to let the actors fly, really.
As You Like It is a pastoral comedy about young love and the test to ensure it is real. 2 young lovers, Rosalind and Orlando, are forced to test their love when Rosalind is banned from the Duke's court. They travel to the Forest of Arden, where Rosalind hopes to teach Orlando how to be a proper husband by disguising herself as a young man. Female lead actress Steph Gray shows much enthusiasm towards her character role as Rosalind.
I love Rosalind so much. Like the character is just so fun. She's she loves life. She's in love, and that's so fun to play because she really is passionate about everything she does, and she's very quirky and outgoing, so it's really great to play her.
Overall, the play is about gentleness and love winning through against all cruelty. Gray feels many things can be learned and made relatable through Shakespeare's words.
I feel like, it's the tights, and they don't, I don't understand what they're saying, but it really is so applicable to today because there's topics that we, even as college students, experience now. So I think that especially the Butler audience will be able to relate because the characters just have so much of themselves in them.
As You Like It will be performed March 2nd through 6th in Lilly Hall Studio Theater 168. Tickets can be purchased by telephone or through email reservation. Don't miss out, for as they say in the theater, the show must go on. For the Butler Beat, I'm Bree Seaver.
Butler Ballet showcases its annual Midwinter Dance Festival this weekend. From practices to costumes, preparations for the dance festival have been going on for weeks. This year's festival, which features a historic George Balanchine's ballet, is unlike past year's performances, according to junior dance major.
Well, last year it was more contemporary, there was really no story to it, but this year I'm in modern piece. It's about Indonesia and tsunami and stuff. I think for me it's more interesting because it's actually have a story.
The 2 shows take place tonight and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Tickets are discounted for Butler students and can be purchased at Clues Hall box office as well as online at Ticketmaster.com.
Butler University honors National Eating Disorder Awareness Week with a guest speaker. Dr. Kimberly Gorman, a psychologist who specializes in the treatment of eating disorders, speaks on anorexia, looking in, looking out, from personal experience, alongside her husband, Dr. Frank Gorman. Kim battled with anorexia 2 years into her marriage, nearly destroying it altogether. Her eating obsession started at age 25 and lasted 8 years. She weighed herself over 20 times a day and counted her calorie intake compulsively. Doctors told her she was near death. Co-coordinator of the lecture and Butler staff psychologist Mindy Walpe discusses BU's issue with eating disorders.
Eating issues on our campus are a concern, and it kind of runs a spectrum for those individuals who are maybe starting out with dieting and focused on their body and wanting to lose weight to full-blown anorexia or bulimia. And so it is a problem on this campus, varying degrees for students.
Dr. Kim Gorman speaks on what she would like for students to get out of her lecture.
The message I would like to convey is how destructive these disorders really are to individuals, to relationships, and the promise of being thin is going to fix your whole life is an empty promise. It never will, and it never does.
National Eating Disorder Week will conclude with a Fat Talk Free Friday, so be aware of the words and phrases used to describe your body.
Former Butler basketball player Gordon Hayward was back on campus this week. Kyle Ware has more on what brought Hayward back to Hinkle.
Here I stand in front of historic Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, where just last year, former Butler basketball standout Gordon Hayward played quite a few games for the Dogs. Later that year, he went as the 9th overall draft pick in the NBA draft to the Utah Jazz, and that's where he's been ever since, except for last night when he paid a visit to his old fieldhouse. From the first minute Gordon Hayward arrived back on Butler's campus, the media was all over him. All that Gordon could do was to smile, answer their questions, and then go back to practicing with his Utah Jazz teammates. But that was just practice. The real event was yet to come. Security was tight at Hinkle Fieldhouse as the fans anxiously awaited Gordon's arrival. The band played uplifting songs, Hink the mascot danced around joyously, and Blue 2 made a few friends. From the youngest fans to the more experienced ones, everyone at Hinkle was happy that Gordon was back at Butler. Once Gordon was finally finished with practice, he took the time to come out to the gym and autograph a few items. From posters to elaborate paintings, Gordon signed it all. He then took a few minutes to answer the crowd's questions. One question shed some light on Gordon's decision to move to the NBA after the 2010 season.
Leaving here just because it was such a great place. There's just great people here, there's great fans here. It's where my home was, where my friends were. So it was obviously one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make.
Gordon has been off in the NBA now for almost an entire season, but the Hinkle Fieldhouse seats still feel a little empty without him. For the Butler Beat, I'm Kyle Weir.
While Major League players report for spring training, Butler baseball players are getting ready for their upcoming season. The Bulldogs opened their season today against Wofford College, who beat Butler twice last year. After that game, the Bulldogs will travel to North Carolina to play a doubleheader against Gardner-Webb on Saturday. While the cold weather in Indiana has limited their practices, the indoor hitting facility gives the team a chance to practice more than in previous years. The team hopes to build off last year's 21-29 campaign.
I mean, definitely our number one goal is to win the Horizon League. I mean, I think this year with a lot of guys coming back from last year, you know, we've all worked and we've all gotten a lot better. And I think, you know, winning the Horizon League is our number one goal, and, you know, get to the NCAA tournament and see what we can do from there.
The Bulldogs also play on Sunday at South Carolina Upstate. The home opener is on March 1st against IPFW at 3 p.m.
This Saturday, the men's basketball team will take on the Loyola Ramblers at 2 p.m. in the final regular season game. It's senior day inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, and the game has already sold out of tickets. There are 5 seniors to recognize that have compiled 109 wins in 4 seasons. But for one senior, his influence reaches far beyond the basketball court. For more on the very special senior Bulldog, here's Mark Minner.
6'8" junior from Connersville, Indiana, number 54, Matt Howard.
This Saturday will mark the last time that Matt Howard's name will be introduced inside Hinkle Fieldhouse. Senior Day for Butler signals the final home game for Butler's 3rd all-time leading scorer. But as much as the academic All-American of the Year means to Butler, Matt Howard's influence makes a bigger impact back in his small Hoosier hometown of Connersville. John Seal played basketball for Tony Hinkle's last season at Butler University and resides in Connersville. John knows as well as anybody else what Matt Howard means to the town.
I think all towns, and particularly those in the Midwest, have seen unemployment and hard times come about, and it's nice to have something positive to look at.
For 4 years, Matt Howard played high school basketball right here in this building known as the Spartan Bowl. It was built back in the late 50s, and even though it's located at the middle school here in Connersville, it still seats over 5,000 people. But that's just half the number of people that will pack into Hinkle Fieldhouse on Saturday to see Matt play his final regular season home game.
Butler Ticket Office, this is Matt.
Matt Harris is the director of fan development for Butler Athletics, and even though the game's been sold out for quite a while, he's been blanketed with ticket requests this past week. But the biggest so far, the Connersville Mayor's Office.
The city of Connersville the last couple of years has bought 500, 600 tickets. Well, this year they kept buying more and more, and they bought 1,400. In fact, they actually wanted more earlier this week, but I couldn't help them out, so they all want to see Matt Howard.
Back in Connersville, inside Brian's Bookstore and Coffee Bar, Matt Howard's dad, Stan, and some local friends talk Butler basketball every day. When asked why Matt is so important to this town, Stan echoed a common belief.
In a time when we've lost industry, in a time when the economy's bad, I think he represents hope to people. That hard work, you can do something, and that you do it the right way, and doggone it, the bad guys don't always win.
That's all for this week's edition of the Butler Beat. Be sure to tune in next week.